We've got some major AEW contract news as several big names have their deals reportedly expiring soon. We're going to tell you who those people are, where they could be going, and what could be next for AEW and potentially WWE. We're also going to talk about SummerSlam, some reported big surprises planned for WWE's biggest show of the summer. And we're going to talk about why Roman Reigns could be part of those plans. All of that and much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so let's talk first about this AEW contract news. It has been reported that the Lucha Bros, yes, Rey Fénix and Penta have their deals expiring. We knew about Penta, but we are now learning that Rey Fénix, according to FightfulSelect.com, his deal is also expiring. Here is an excerpt from the FightfulSelect.com report. Quote, "Those we've spoken to say that AEW want to retain Fénix and Penta, and there were offers extended and contract talks. We've not heard how these have been. Fénix, much like Penta, is expected to have interest from WWE. Both men have been with All Elite Wrestling since 2019. Both men also happen to be AEW originals, wrestling at both the original AEW Double or Nothing and also the original AEW All In. Penta actually main eventing that show. So, the Ring of Honor, independent, All In, whatever you want to call it, he main evented that show. Anyway, but AEW originals and, you have major names. Like, the reality is that these are some of AEW's biggest names, some of their biggest stars, the stars that get some of the biggest reactions, and really two members of the roster that have etched their names in All Elite Wrestling history forever. Like, if AEW goes away tomorrow, Penta and Rey Fénix are going to be towards the top of the list of the most iconic, definitely tag teams, but stars that company has had. If you look at the major moments they've been a part of with the Young Bucks, from ladder matches to arguably the best steel cage match of all time against the Young Bucks at AEW All Out 2021. They've done a lot and they've accomplished a lot. And with that, obviously, comes a reputation. And that reputation, I believe, is one that WWE not only has taken notice of, but is quite interested in expanding. And one thing we know about this version of WWE is that they do not care if you have that, outside stink, as it used to be called, on you, right? Under Vince McMahon, it was a very different operation situation. If you came from outside, unless your name was AJ Styles, you were treated in a specific way. You kind of had to earn your right. Whereas nowadays, look at people like Cody Rhodes, look at people like All Ego Ethan Page. They are coming in from outside and being positioned as big stars. Look at someone like Stephanie Vaquer, who 9 days before she signed with WWE, she was in a championship match against Mercedes Moné at AEW Forbidden Door. This is a regime that understands that when you have a big-time talent and a big-time name and you want to attract stars for the future, you treat them right and you position them where they're supposed to be. There's no doubt in my mind that if Penta and Rey Fénix signed with WWE tomorrow, they would be the biggest names in their tag team division. I would automatically put the belts on them. Like, you want to talk about international appeal. You want to talk about, all that kind of stuff. They have all of that and much more. I think that the best thing in many ways that could happen for them in at least getting that outside exposure, that expanded exposure, would be to go to WWE. That being said, will they consistently be booked in that position? Probably not. As we've seen with WWE, it kind of ebbs and flows with the way that you are presented. You're not always presented in that grandeur of a light. That being said, look back at the last year of Penta and Rey Fénix. They have not really been doing that much. And it just seems like because of injuries, obviously, that's a big part of it, with Rey Fenix being out for extended periods of time with injuries. There was also that like little fiasco with the International Championship. But it has been an inconsistent past year. And it feels like one of those situations. And again, I think that the likelihood is they end up staying. But this does feel like one of those situations where you could see the talent be like, man, we've been here. We've done a lot. It doesn't seem like things are changing. Maybe it's just time to leave the territory. And people kind of like take that and they look at it and they say, well, I mean, that's a bad thing because that means, the company's failing them, blah, blah, blah. But like the reality is you can only be somewhere for so long before, it might be time for a scene change. And I think that could be happening for Penta and Rey Fenix. I don't think Tony Khan is going to allow that if he's able to. I think he is going to do everything in his power to offer them big money and position them to be where they are. And look, I think that's one of the reasons why you see talent do this, like, and why these contracts are up. Like, it's so talent can be like, hey, reminder, you need me, or you should need me, and you should want me, and you should pay me. And that kind of like, obviously sparks something in like, in theory, it sparks something in the promoter to be like, well, yeah, I do need them and I should position them better. And here's what we're going to do. So hopefully that happens with Penta and Rey Fenix. Again, of this generation, they are two of the best tag team wrestlers there is, no doubt. Another really good wrestler is one and only Daniel Garcia, who you've been seeing flashing on the screen. So here is what we know about Daniel Garcia according to Brian Alvarez. Quote, when AEW, did that angle, they were aware that Daniel Garcia, may not be back. So the angle was done in case he doesn't come back. If he does come back, then they have a storyline feud with MJF. I know he had been thinking about it, or he had told people he had been thinking about what he was going to do. I don't think it's 100% that he's coming back. I will say that, but I don't think he's re-signed or decided to leave yet. That is Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Radio saying that Daniel Garcia was essentially written off of TV after that beatdown by MJF in order to either completely write him off TV in the case that his contract, which we know is expiring, is going to expire and he's potentially going to leave, or to bring him back eventually and, have him feud with MJF in this big-time feud that will likely, I think we're all in agreement there, that will elevate Daniel Garcia, hopefully, to that next level that we've been waiting for him to get to. Now, of course, the automatic question is, why hasn't Daniel Garcia re-signed yet? Is there something deeper to this? Is this maybe him kind of being like, oh, man, I haven't been booked right, or I don't feel this place, or maybe just trying to see if the grass is greener on the other side? And the reality is that we don't know. What we do know, though, is that Daniel Garcia is another guy that WWE, at one point, were interested in. Before he signed with AEW, he did have a tryout with WWE. He did appear, I believe, on NXT in a dark match. And while he didn't get signed then, it is very easy to see that WWE scouts and the like are going to look at what Daniel Garcia is now, where he's positioned, how he's grown, and the wrestler that he is, and say this is an automatic slam dunk. We have to get this guy. Because I think Daniel Garcia not only has main event potential, I think he has superstar potential. And again, people are going to point to his promos or whatever and blah, 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 blah. He is someone who is, at this point, a very young guy. Like, he's like 26, I believe. And he, in the ring, is able to tell a story, like, years beyond his ability. Like, he's genuinely one of the best young, like, in-ring acts there is. He's 25 years old. And his ability to do that, his ability to be as psychological and cerebral as he is, I think will lead to him eventually evolving his promo skills into a great promo. And we've seen spurts of it. If you go back and watch some of the promos that he had with Bryan and Jericho, like, there was fire behind Daniel Garcia. I think in WWE there could be a chance for him to hone that better and see, like, you know, what else is out there. But we've also, like, kind of heard reports that, you know, Daniel Garcia, it kind of is expected to sign with or re-sign with AEW. That, like, that's what people feel. The fact that he has not yet, and the fact that, you know, we're at this point and you know, we're still hearing like, oh well, he might, he may not, we'll see. It kind of does lend to this idea that, like, maybe he's thinking about leaving. And look, we are going to see this on both sides, and we should see this on both sides. Talent whose contracts are expiring, taking longer than usual to come to a deal or come to a conclusion. Reason for that is we now have two companies that are offering comparable money, that each have a benefit. WWE obviously have a much larger platform, and AEW in turn has a much easier schedule that allows you to be with your family. It allows you to do outside things that you could not do with WWE, or would need like a lot of special permission to do and split revenue with WWE, because that's how it works. Like, each company offers something different that appeals to different talent. And in a market that has been monopolized and, you know, as dominated by WWE over the past 20, 30 years, it's a good thing the talent have a bit more of a choice. There should be more. I would love a third company that could compete on the level of AEW or WWE. I don't know if we'll see that anytime soon, but the more companies there are out there, the more we're going to be seeing this, and the better environment it's going to be for the talent, and the better pay that's going to be for the talent. Like, these are things that are healthy for the ecosystem of professional wrestling. And people can say, like, oh my God, I don't want to, like, this guy's a traitor for leaving X company or X company. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the main thing that matters is, are you entertained, and are the talent doing their jobs to entertain you while also being safe and getting compensated? Those are the things that you know, I think matter the most in professional wrestling. And as long as those are being covered, it's all that matters. So hopefully we'll see what happens with Daniel Garcia soon. I know for one thing, Tony Khan is not going to let him go easily. I think Tony Khan will definitely back up the Brinks truck, figuratively, for Daniel Garcia, because he is a star for the future, and I think he's got a tremendous one in All Elite Wrestling. But we'll see what happens there. Guys, let's move on to our next topic and talk about WWE SummerSlam, because there could be some SummerSlam surprises, yes, in store for WWE over the next couple of days. So, according to a new report from FightfulSelect.com, click the link in the description for the full report. Quote, one WWE source told Fightful Select to not be surprised to see some additions or alterations to the SummerSlam card as of right now. The show features 7 singles matches without additional stipulations. Of course, 6 of those 7 matches at this point are for championships. All of them are singles matches. There's not a tag team match on the card as of yet. So we could see some additions. SummerSlam, for what it's worth, if you include the pre-show, is slated to be a 8-hour-long show. That is a 3-hour pre-show plus, in theory, a 4-hour main show. We will see if that's what ends up happening. Again, right now, only 7 matches announced. However, these cards and SummerSlam itself usually is an event that goes longer. Like, in the recent years, it's gone past midnight at certain points. So I would not be surprised if we got a few more matches to help build out that card. I think there will be a tag team match added to this. The one I could see very easily is they move Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga versus Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga versus DIY for the tag team title. Like, that's a match I could see added to the main SummerSlam show. But as of right now, we don't have indication about what that will be. I think SmackDown is going to clear a lot of that up. But one thing that people have been talking about that was not highlighted in this report is Roman Reigns. What the hell is happening with Roman Reigns? We have not seen him since WrestleMania 41 when he lost the WWE Undisputed Championship to Cody Rhodes. People have been chanting, "We want Roman" at arenas. People have been saying that Roman Reigns needs to return to save and reconquer the bloodline and capture his place at the head of the table. Yet, we have heard nothing from him. The only thing that we've seen from Roman Reigns ever since WrestleMania 41 has been one video on social media of him in the gym basically saying, getting back to work. That is it. Outside of that, it has been dead silence. WWE have rarely mentioned him, kind of mentioned him with the bloodline stuff, but really have made it clear that Solo Sikoa right now is the leader of the bloodline. And this hostile takeover has commenced. While we don't have reporting to suggest that Roman will return, I think it's important to keep in mind a few things, right? Number one, WWE on their big shows, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, they love to have big moments. And if you go back to the big 5 pay-per-views from just this calendar year, or even look back at past SummerSlams, we had some big moments at past year SummerSlams. Becky Lynch's return, Brock Lesnar's return. We've had in 2021. Go to 2022. You had that insane matchup with Brock Lesnar and literally picking up Roman Reigns in a forklift and doing all that crazy stuff. Like, big moments are what WWE live for. And even in this era under Triple H, as critical of people, including myself, have been of the booking of, certain aspects of WWE television between the big shows, these big shows do not miss. These are must-watch events that may not be like for the traditional wrestling fan, but these big moments really do make these events like insane spectacles. And when we think about how SummerSlam is likely going to end, right? The main event will likely be Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the title. It is a foregone conclusion that Cody Rhodes will walk out as the champion. And I think people know that. It's a very predictable result. But one way that you can kind of add to that ending and make it, a historic and big-time ending that makes it live up to what people believe SummerSlam is by having Roman return. Will they do it? We will find out Saturday. But if I were to put my money on it, I would expect it. This just seems like the formula that WWE goes by. And I think if they drag out this Solo Sikoa thing any more than they already have, and I think they kind of understand it, if they drag it out any more than they have, at a certain point, the fans go from like booing Solo Sikoa and cheering for Roman Reigns in a way that's like advancing the story into a way where it's just like, okay, I don't care about this. Like, and that's kind of what I'm worrying that we're getting to. We're getting to the point where people are kind of stopping to care and getting sick of the bloodline stuff because they're not seeing it advance in the way that they want to, and they're not seeing it advance in an entertaining way. I think if you want to kind of kibosh that and put the proverbial, hammer down, Roman Reigns is your freaking hammer for that. We will see what happens because obviously SummerSlam is this Saturday. I'm definitely going to be doing something on that day, whether it be a post show or maybe even I thought about doing a live stream, but man, Saturday night, I could do a live stream. Maybe we'll do a live stream. Let me know in the comments section what you guys want me to do. Post show, live stream. I want to hear from y'all. Let me know in the comments section. Also, if you haven't already done so, do me a massive, massive favor and leave a like on this video. Leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, helps more people see the channel, helps more people see these videos, and builds this community here at youtube.com/Real Take Wrestling, a community I'm proud of. Thank you to every single one of you who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? Join the movement. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And until next time, I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, Keep it real.